Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. And Saturday night in the UK, Saturday night, 17th of December. Are we on the last stretch before Christmas? I want to wish you a wonderful evening. I want to wish you a wonderful evening tonight. Those who are on Facebook, those who are on YouTube, those who are on Instagram. Of course, the Instagram, as I say all the while, Instagram is just a shop window um, to take you into the main platform, which is on YouTube, Silver and TV. Behind the smile and the filters. That's the topic tonight. Behind the smile and the filters. Beyond the smile and the filters. Going where man has never been before. You know, that's the topic. And at the same time, I'm hoping to have Mr. Richard Cummins from Coming Up. That's a restaurant, talking about his yearly event, which give back to the community. Giving back to the community. But one of the first things we're talking sip, the question is, what are you drinking? Yeah. Give me a second. What are you drinking tonight? Next question is, who is your football team? Is it the African team or is it the white team? I think the African team, many people are saying, is France. Believe it or not, France is the African team, and the white team is Argentina. Now, I don't play football, and I'm not the type of person that is going to jump on the bandwagon. But one of the things that I will do is, like, for the last, like tomorrow night. I was supposed to do a show tomorrow night, so I just cancel it. But it made no sense because nobody's gonna be watching it at that time. But ladies and gentlemen, what are you drinking? Let me see. There we are. I've been having some Blue Mountain coffee. Coolest Dad. There it is. Coolest Dad. That's my children made this for me. This cup here. I felt like doing some Blue Mountain coffee today because the place was really cold. And the weather has been very cold these last days. Kim, snow girl. And so I said I felt like doing some nice, good, real smashing coffee. So I just went for Blue Mountain. So that's what I'm having tonight. And also, if you are on YouTube, you'll see that I have another camera that points to the wine that I'm drinking. Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir. There it is. What are you drinking? Now, I'm not a person that drinks too much, so I don't think I'll even finish this tonight. Yeah. And then while I'm doing that, I may even have an orange. I pick up this orange earlier. That's one that you can do. I made some melon. Actually, I should have had some melons. I did some melons tonight, but maybe it's a bit too late. It's 10 o'clock in the night. And of course, always good to have sparkling water. Yeah. Sparkling water. Because I'm not what should I say? A rumid. Hi, Kim. How are you doing? Behind the smile and the filters. I believe that I had to come on tonight and touch on this topic behind the smile and the filters. Michelle Clark, peace, balance, and wellness still burning all on the live. You know. Well, the good. You're drinking what? Hot chocolate. It's a bit chilly here in Florida. Um, I didn't know that Florida gets cold. I thought you always hot, fire with Ron DeSantis. Never know that you guys get have cold temperature in Florida. Yeah, even the wine, the red wine, has a chillness. It's very chilled as well. Might as well. I mean, I left a bottle of water in my car. One of those water that you drive with. Just ice, total ice, total ice. You know. Well, you know what? The big news which has been going on. Let me just turn this down a bit. And as I said all the while, and I invite persons on Instagram, it's best to actually go over on YouTube or the Facebook where you can see better interactions. It's better there than on the Instagram because Instagram is just me only hearing my voice. You might not hear other persons as well. I actually sometimes don't know who is gonna come on, but I never worry about that too much. Um, Michelle may come on, Lester may come on, O'Neill may come on, anyone may come on tonight. But the most important thing though is, well, my condolences to my mother's sister, my aunt, whose funeral is in Jamaica. So I was tuning into a funeral in Jamaica a while ago, Aunt B. So may she rest in peace, and the family back in Jamaica. Should have been in Jamaica. Can't tell when last I've been in Jamaica, but I'll be in Jamaica very soon. Um, and Michelle, if you want to, and for ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come on to the show, if you want to join the show, all you got to do is make a shout. I'll send you the link, and you can join the show. Let me just put it up here as well. I'll send it to you, Michelle. Um, I'll send it to you as well. I'll send it to you as well, Kim. That is if you and just to let you know that you can come on the show and you don't have to show your face because there is a facility for just audio only. So that's the beauty of these things. Um, yeah. The My aunt, she very elderly lady, so she served her time, and so many there have been so many deaths since the advent of COVID. Many people have not been able to, what should I say, even get to mourn properly for their friends and their families who passed away during COVID as a result of COVID, but also persons who have passed away not because of COVID, but they have been restricted in actually traveling because of the restricted to travel because of the COVID factor. So in a way, they're still being impacted. Many people have not been able to actually mourn properly, mourn with their friends. It is something that I speak about a lot when I'm walking in my walk and talk. Many people have not been able to spend that time with their friends who they grew up with, persons who passed away because of the impact of the restrictions during COVID. You know, so that's been very very unfortunate, and as a result of that, many people, I believe, are somewhat still, what should I say, still somewhat maybe struggling, you know, still somewhat having this bottled up issues, bottled up pent up things which they want to let go, want to release, but not able to release because of the fact that there's no outlet. And that is why, as you can see, the topic behind the smile and the filters. So many people are, what should I say? Like there's a constipation to a certain extent where there's a blockage and they want to be free. You know, I saw a video and I'm gonna play it. I saw a video and you only can see this video on YouTube or on Facebook if you come on. A lady who was in the presence of King Charles, His Royal Highness King Charles. You know, let me see this here. Show. Light speaker, how are you doing, buddy? Why did light speaker? It said I had to approve you. What were you putting up there? Were you putting up something dodgy? I had to approve your comment a while ago. There was nothing wrong with your comment. Yeah, your comment was perfect, and there's your comment, 100%, 100%. You know, if you want to come on, the link is there. Let me know. So this lady, and I'm going to play the video shortly. This lady, ladies and gentlemen, was in the presence of King Charles, and in the presence of King Charles, she was that she actually, jumped, bowed down, or and was really in awe. And I got some mixed feelings regarding it because at the same time, other persons around her weren't so in awe, but maybe they're in awe, but she was in awe. She had that moment. It reminded me of when people go to these Michael Jackson movies and Michael Jackson say, "It's out of my life, hello," and everybody go, and they go crazy. Everybody going crazy. One boy, woman, girl, old people, everybody, black, white, everybody goes crazy. I'm gonna play the video, and I just want to hear what person's comments are regarding this video. Let me just turn this down at the same time. Here's the video. There's the video, ladies. Let me play the video then. So as you can see from the video, hey Kim, how are you? Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, how are you? Long time.
Hi, say hi.
Hey, oh, you got a. Well, you having a bashment there? You having a bashment there or something?
No.
What you guys drinking? You got to be drinking something, What are you
Oh
drinking?
yeah, we're drinking, but it's nothing alcoholic. It's
No, no,
it's
no.
soda.
No, you don't have to drink anything alcohol. This is not alcohol. This is just wine, and they call it
Okay.
alcohol. So you got to show what you're drinking. You got to show what you're drinking.
I have to show what I'm drinking. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on.
Even if it's Crystal Punch. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
You're doing fine.
I'm
Oh, so
drinking
you're
hot
drinking.
chocolate.
Oh boy, everybody's drinking hot
Hot
chocolate.
Hot
That's
chocolate.
good.
chocolate out of the thermos.
And Kim, you're having what do you call it? What you say having? Water.
A
What
soda.
or crystal water, crystal punch or something like that.
Crystal fun.
So therefore, so Michelle is in Florida. Where are you again, Kim? New York?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York. Yes.
Are you in New
Oh,
York?
so it's
Okay.
free here.
Cold as ever.
I know.
Is it cold there? Well, it's freezing here in London. You know, what can I say? The temperature now is if I can look at it, it's wow, it's gone to -1.
Oh wow. Oh, it's cold.
Wow.
It's gone to -1, I think. So so there's still some ice right there on the drive. Every morning I keep thinking it's gone, and there's a snowman my daughter did, and it's still out there. Every time I see that snowman, I said it's still cold. I'm waiting for that snowman to go. Once that snowman goes, then I know it's all right. But listen, I'm Rick. I'm Mike. How are you doing? But listen, I was just playing this video. Hi D, how are you? Nice. I mean D there. I was just playing this video, and I'm gonna just play it again because I want to sort of analyze it in a way. Everybody's having kittens over this video. So here's the video.
I'm coming back.
Tell me what's your first take on that video there? Who want to go first? What's your take on that? What's your take on that? Michelle, go for it.
So much take already. Still burn. Well, I will call it over here.
Or why always keep having I'm cutting out with you? What did you say? We need to sort out
So
your
we call
wife, your
it
thing
a
there.
coon move over here. It's a
A,
coon
co-
move.
a coon move.
Yeah.
A coon move.
Why would
um,
you? Why would you?
Kneel down.
Why would you bow down on your knees? That is like, I mean, to each his own. We have our reasons why she did it, but
yeah. What do you say, Michelle? Sorry, no, I mean Kim. What's your initial take on that?
I wouldn't do that.
Mm.
I would not be kneeling down in front of nobody.
then the
What,
thing
what,
she knelt down and then she walked. She crawled on her knees. She was
Her
on him,
knees.
crawling towards him. That it was
yeah.
crazy.
All right. We're gonna pause that for a second. Let me just bring in Mr. Richard Cummins. Mr. Cummins, how are you doing, sir? I know you're at
Good evening, my brother. Good evening. I'm fine, sir.
I know you're at an event there, isn't it? Are you still the knock still?
Boy, I don't know what give me with this Oxdale. Only chest so high that shame.
everybody want hug still, isn't it?
Hey, they want Oxdale, they want cold food, they want everything that would have taken 100 years to cook.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just pausing this a bit because how long you have? Because I know you're out there doing something. How long do you have there?
No, I have a piece of time. I have at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I have here is Mr. Richard Cummins. Mr. Richard Cummins is from the restaurant which is called Coming Up, and Coming Up Caribbean Caters and Takeaway. That is based all over the world, you know. All right, Richard. Where is it? I think. Hold on, let me bring him back in. Yeah, there you are. You're back again, yeah.
Okay, yes. I don't know. There was something with the signal.
Yeah. And the reason why I brought on Richard is because Richard every year, Richard does this special event, Christmas Day. He's gonna come back in again. Yeah, you do a Christmas Day special, isn't it? Tell us
That's
about
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, my image is frozen, but you can hear me okay, yeah?
We can hear you and see you. We see you moving as well. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, I
Yes, sir.
can't see anybody.
Yeah, we see you. We see you.
All right, lovely. Yeah, well, basically, for the last, how many years now? 13? possibly even 14 now. We've opened our doors at the restaurant in Catford, Southeast
Yeah,
London, and
yeah,
we've just offered a meal to anybody, anyone and everybody, non-judgmental. We've even had families in. They just say, if you're lonely, I mean, I've had people call me already, coming from quite a distance, just confirming that what they hear is correct, and just for some company. So there's that aspect. There's those who are feeling the pinch and could want to partake a bit. I remember one year it was 8 people. The last meal we set up was a family of 8,
yes,
and they all came and partook. And so yeah, it's non-judgmental. Whether you're a cab driver working the day, whether you're a family. I've been contacted again by another family, a disabled mother,
mm,
and we've got volunteers who are willing to collect food and deliver to them.
yes,
So I give everybody the opportunity. We're just a conduit. There are
yeah,
many people with a lovely heart who just want to help people. There's no
yeah,
two ways about that. And we just provide the means of them providing the help to others. That's all.
mm.
I'm very, very blessed to be in this very fortunate position to be able to help.
And what do you what and for Christmas is a special time, and with what is going on now with the loneliness and the mental health issue, you play a part in helping people through that as well.
Yes. I mean, we have, in our community, we have professionals in all spheres, and we have people who attend whom are mental health practitioners. I can think of 2 individuals off the top of my head.
Mm,
But again, I've had people call in and I said, well, the kitchen might not be their thing or this or that. I said, but I'm not turning anybody away because you could be, and I literally say this, you could be the difference between somebody committing suicide next week or
mm,
we seeing them going into 2023. It can be that literal. You don't know. They talk about the hidden disabilities. You don't know where people are at. I don't know where people are at. One doesn't know. And we cannot make assumptions. So, you could be just befriending somebody and lift them out of a very dark place.
yes, as you're coming from, you could be that one step there that makes a big difference, isn't it?
Make the difference. Exactly. Precisely.
Mm, mm. Michelle, what's your take on the point there? Because and Mr. Cumming, Mr. Richard, as you know, the topic is behind the smile and the filters, and I noticed you posted something today about that. A guy was talking about his situation. I can't remember the video, but you are you're the one who posted things on your video, isn't it?
Yes. No, no, I just come across these things as well, and I think what we can expand on that one, or that would be good to I'd like to think I'm the filter somewhat, and and pass on things which will definitely help us as a community lift ourselves out. But I'm now stalling because I'm racking my brains as to which I've had 3 events to do today, and
Yes.
my focus has been elsewhere. So you just got to give me a hint as to which one it was,
Yeah.
if you can
Yeah.
recall it.
Now, okay. Before you do that, now you can't. I don't know if you can see a video which I was playing before you came in. You may not see it, but I'm gonna play it again. And if you can't see it, we'll describe it to you. And I just want a quick analysis because I have my views,
Right.
and I'm gonna play it here. You may see it. I don't know because you're on your phone. So let me just
Yeah,
play it
but
for you.
I'm my image I'm looking at here is frozen, but I can see
Okay.
that the signal is good.
Okay. Let me just play it there. Yeah. Did you see it, Richard?
No, I can't see it, but I can hear somebody having a wheel of a time.
Okay, that's interesting. There's a wheel of a time. Well, what happened? I'll describe it to you. It's a young
Mm.
lady in this bakery or so. Prince King Charles is there, and she went on her knees, and she just wanted to go on her knees and just to hold him, and just for that moment, and she was just in awe. And of course, she's black, you know. And
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
people,
Oh my God.
you know. So a lot of people are really going a bit berserk by what they saw and how she was reacting. And many people are losing kittens. Many people are saying, like, I was watching this Shade Room site. They were saying that she has set black people back 400 years. It's a shame. She does represent black people and all those sort of things. And I just want to. I've got a view on it, and it might be controversial, but I just want to hear.
Well, I have a view on what started this, and I will be the first to say that I don't know the individual personally, and perhaps I didn't see enough of it.
Mm.
But superficially, without going too deep, and that's the lady who was asked where she come from
No, it's
by
not.
one of
No,
his ears.
no, it's not
Did
there.
you? No, I know it's not that one, but I think that's what started this whole business here,
Yeah, yeah,
where the
yeah. That's
woman was saying that the
where you're
point
from.
I'm making is in putting the two together, and it's saying when you said that it has set us back. My point is, and as I said, I don't know this individual enough, but I would ask, and I do ask, when somebody says to me, well, or comes in my presence, and I say, well, where are you from? And they say, well, I'm from this part of where London, East London, or whatever. So I say again, I don't know, I don't know, where are you from originally?
Mm.
And then we enter a conversation. But as I said, I don't know the tone and how this woman spoke, but in this sphere of the palace and King Charles and all this, my general take is in this instance, he's not God, and I shouldn't be. He's just man, and if you cut him in bleed, and
Yes.
they have lived, they use that expression, the life of Riley. They have had. There've never been a day without they at their behest somebody
Mm.
can be killed. Not, I'm being extreme, but they have tens and hundreds of acres of land right across England. They go
Yeah.
and kill for their supper. Literally, then get the gun and go kill wild boar and all this kind of thing, and it's
Mm.
fixed for them. Prince Charles, King Charles now with the duchy. I don't know if he still gets the money from the Duchy of Cornwall, that whole big estate and all that. What that makes, but you know, they have never been a day without highly privileged, and
Mm.
you cannot go and rule 50 odd countries of the world at the time without internet 100 odd years ago, without being brutal.
Yes.
And
Yes.
everything was funneled in. We look at history and we look at what in Churchill's time when it caused the starvation of how many Indians because the food was there and it was coming. There was some food coming from Australia and it was not allowed to dock and move straight on to London and caused a famine. And in the Africas, it was the same where they would pressure people to be cultivating cash crops and not
Mm.
sustenance, not food for themselves. So the first bad, the bad weather or lack of rain or drought or whatever the case might be, and the crop fails, people are starved.
Yeah.
So, as I said, not physically seeing that, but these people don't deserve any more of my time than I would give what I consider the regular man in the street. I respect people as people. I
Well,
respect people as people. But
well,
I wouldn't be doing anything like that. You're crazy.
but you know what? At the same time, you wonder if sometimes people are imposing that sort of what should I say, performance, because I don't think he was actually even expecting it. He was like, hang on a second, you don't have to go down
No,
there,
I'm
and he
not.
was,
No, he probably wasn't expecting it. But I'm saying more fool this woman. Woman
yes,
of God.
yeah. Okay, Kim, let me hear what you say, Kim, and I'll come in with something. You were saying something, Kim, before Richard came on.
Well, my take on it is that she shouldn't be doing that because at the end of the day, we have come out of slavery. We don't need to be
Yeah,
bowing down to anybody.
yeah,
Um, I don't think that's a good representation for young people to be looking up to or seeing highlighted in the media, for one. But I don't know what got into her, but I wouldn't be doing something like that on my own,
yes.
bowing to no king, crawling on your knees like you're some servant or something.
Mm, yeah. I, I agree. I agree. But something else struck me about it is that you see, because you see this whole mental health thing and this
Hmm.
whole issue about where people are at. You just don't know where people are at and what as why they have gratitude or have this level of, I was thinking about Michael Jackson at one point. And if Michael Jackson, if Michael Jackson say hee hoo, people faint. People faint and fall over the place. I'm trying to say they get excited. Is it that she was maybe in awe in the presence of King Charles and then she just go
That's
crazy? I
Do
don't
something
know.
else. Do something else, not crawl on your knees.
It's not in
That
Yeah.
might be physically out of slavery, but a lot of
Mm,
people is still in mentally enslaved. You
yeah.
know, crawling on your knees. It's a human being just like me.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
I find that, and you find a lot of Jamaicans too as well that them praise these people that way.
Yeah.
It's just I see Jamaicans when them have the the hats that the English people them will how they do that celebration. I'm not about to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But come on, she was
So
actually crawling
Yeah.
on her knees.
yeah.
No, no.
Yeah. And the the
And
the the, the
then
bit
who
also
behind
gone.
put it out? What was the motive behind that person even taking that video? That you have to think about that
Yeah.
too.
Because right standing next to her was a black guy as well.
Was a black guy.
Yeah.
Me don't slap her if me was one box to carry.
Yeah. But you see one of the things when I see these things and I see people saying, "Oh my days, she set up she let down black people or the ancestors are rolling in their grave or 400 years of setback."
Yeah.
I say to
Bullshit.
myself, give me a break. Let's
Yeah,
not let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. This is just one lady,
that
maybe lose the screw a bit.
he did
Let's not use her as a representative or representation. Richard, would you see her as a representation?
Well, you're not representing me.
Not me.
Exactly.
You know, talk to me. So, so you're not representing anybody other than your own foolishness.
Yeah, yeah.
But, 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 joking aside, that's what they do. They use tokenism, isn't it? So some
Mm,
people who want to further an agenda will identify this woman and her action, and it can be twisted anywhere, I
mm,
suppose. That as a people, we still recognize that who the boss is,
yeah,
and we are subservient and every and kind of negative connotation that might bring. Um, I would like to have thought that, well, I couldn't even say that she would be mocking because that wouldn't be,
mm,
that example is a little too extreme. But,
yeah,
frankly, she's not representing me. And I could understand those who have said that they've been pushed back how many years
mm,
because it's, it was just spoken of, about the mental slavery. Um, that person, and you don't know that person's sphere of influence. What brought her in his presence in the first place gives me the impression that she might have a degree of influence. So,
Mhm.
as I said, I haven't seen it. I don't know the individual, but for her to be in his presence suggests that she might have some influence, and then she's going to be influencing others with the foolishness.
well,
yeah.
it
And sorry,
like
Michelle. Mm,
they were in a bakery or something like she there, right? Silburn.
Yeah, it was. I think it was something where, yeah, it seemed like it's some baker or some place where he
Yeah,
visited.
it
Mm.
was an
Okay.
employee. It was
Looks
all
like a
employees
bakery.
in there, and he walked in and to do.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, guys, one of the things that I believe very strongly about is that you got so-called influencers and people who are so-called influencers, and they influence people left, right, and center. And I believe that it's very important that we who knows better, that we actually speak up and counteract these things, because I wouldn't be surprised if that was used, because it was Sky, I said Sky, with the Meghan Markle and the Harry thing, which is going on at present.
Yes. You
They're
can
saying
spin
that,
it.
yeah, and they're saying that the Charles is racist, and they say, hang on a second, well, black people love him too.
Yes.
Sometimes they play these little things. It's a
Yes, of course.
psychological thing, and they play it around to say, hey, you also attract black people as well, not just Megan and what Harridan is saying. But I think we just have to make sure that we don't take it on board in a way and run with it, because I could be perpetrating, I could be actually promoting it by me just playing it, when really and truly we shouldn't be seeing that image.
Mm.
Am I correct,
Yeah.
Michelle?
Yeah, yes, but this is a controlled environment of like-minded individuals. So you see,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. The other thing I wanted to touch on, Richard, and I'm gonna look for the video which you're talking about, was the young man, the gentleman who passed away recently, which is Mr.
Twitch.
Twitch.
yeah, Twitch, the music,
Yeah, the
the
dancer.
dancing. Yeah.
Yeah, the dancer. That was a really sad thing there. And when you see the videos, and one of the videos I have, and I'll just play it very quickly, try not to play it too much because of copyright. I don't want Helen to come at me. Um,
Mm.
Lovely video like that.
Thank you. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, what is messing up a lot of people's psyche now is that they just can't seem to understand this. This great guy, this great dancer, this positive person.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I saw a video today, and as many I'm sure have seen, which he posted himself playing around as he does, dancing and acting the fool. Um, relaxing. A TikTok video he made 24 hours before he killed himself.
Mm.
I've got to ask the question: did somebody kill him?
That's a very
Because
good.
That's what a lot of persons are
you cannot go
speculating.
from. He didn't look like he was on anything. I can only judge by appearances. How can you go from that extreme to one extreme to the next within a relatively short space of time, bearing in mind that perhaps 8 hours after that you'll be sleeping? So, I'm sorry, but I believe that the American powers that be are very sinister, and they can set up anything and cause anything.
Richard,
I can go a stage further and say, well, blood sacrifice. We could get in the area of what they call conspiracy theories, but many a time we hear of people dying in this showbiz situation where people are sacrificed for the betterment of other people's careers, normally in the family. So I
Richard,
might be a bit extreme in my thinking, but this doesn't add up.
Richard, I thought we were going to talk about food, but you're touching on some serious stuff there.
Okay, when you
So we're talking about oxtail, but I mean, I'm also of the view as well that something fishy. I said I'm not going to buy. I'm not buying this suicide thing just like that.
No,
I
the
mean,
man just commit suicide. So no, I don't. No. We are no idiots.
yeah, and the way how they're trying to shut it down very quickly, isn't it, Michelle? Calling it and said closing the case.
Yep.
Kim, what's
Yeah.
your take? You're in New York there. Yeah, what's your take? Kim, sorry. Kim, go first. Yeah. What's your take of, yeah.
Well, firstly, I must say condolences to his wife and his family, his mom, particularly because when I go online, I see where she's talking about how they had such a close relationship, and his grandfather spoke to him like
Yes.
I think the same day or that he did that or the day before. It's very suspicious
Yes.
because he didn't seem like anything was wrong with him. But I'm gonna tell you this, that you can't determine based on people's social media, put like what they put out on social media to determine if they have a mental health issue or not, because you looks can be deceiving.
Yes.
You can have persons who have mental health issues and they're on social media all the time. So you can't really use that to determine if, but what is alarming for me is the fact that he put out a video before in 24 hours where he was dancing and he seemed okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was dancing with his wife. So that is what is alarming to me because that's something that you don't normally see. But they always say that persons who are happy, seem happy, they might look happy, appear happy, but they're not actually that happy on the inside. You know, something is going on. And they said that he left a suicide note. I didn't get a chance to see anything online where
Yeah.
the contents of the note, I didn't get to read it. So
Yeah.
I don't know what he wrote in it
Mm.
to say
The con
if he revealed that he
wasn't
had
there.
issues. I don't know.
Yeah. Someone just messaged me a while ago, said there was a suicide note. Anyone know what was in that suicide note, Michelle?
Yeah, there was a
I don't
say
know.
what was in the note. They didn't say what was in the note. It just past issues, like he was dealing with past issues or something.
And also that he maybe did some investment or something of that
I think
nature.
it comes down to where
Mhm.
you have to think that was he living a life that him couldn't,
Cope, deal with it.
like, a homosexual life or something that he couldn't get grasp with. So, he was selfish enough to go and commit suicide. Then they say that probably Ellen, well, I don't even want to say it on the on here. She was involved with Epstein. You remember Epstein, that they found him dead in the
Yeah.
jail when all of this
Yeah.
came out, all that
They found him
sex
dead or they kill
trafficking
him.
and stuff. So they were saying all of that could be tied in as well.
Richard
I don't know.
Richard is putting
But
some
it's just something that you
clarificating
got to think about.
question.
I mean, I've seen videos of him, like probably that he did probably a week or so before he took his life, that he was he seemed like he had something on his mind. When you've seen those videos, you've seen it too as well, Silburn,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So I can hear you,
Can you
Michelle.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We're hearing you clear. You're clear. We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you. We're hearing you clear, Michelle. We're hearing you. Let me just send her a message. Dion, send Mich. We're hearing you. Um, um, you talk, Richard, while I message Michelle to say that we're hearing her.
Yeah. The only thing, as I said, I'm perhaps that's how I'm now wired. I don't put anything past these people. I I I I just can't. Years pass and you hear when they open up files, after they've got, after the 40-year period or whatever the classification might be, and you hear of this person um, professing to be CIA, having done this, having done that, having done the other, and other people collaborating it. Two or three people speaking about various incidents. So at the time, we may look and say, well, it is how it appears and it's less as that. But, at the end of the day, we have the powers of rationale and intellect and
Critical thinking.
critical thinking, absolutely. And, we can critique these things. And if it doesn't line up with our reasonable knowledge, or should I say our general reasoning, then we should question. That's the whole idea. Don't close down any situation.
Yeah, but I think
But there again, but I'll say this. I'll caveat it
Yeah.
and say equally, don't waste time on things that won't benefit you.
Yeah.
So we can
Elaborate.
talk
Mm,
about this one and that one and this and the Epstein and the rest, but where is it benefiting you? Let's say
yeah.
you go find some work.
Yeah. I like what you said right there. When you say, are you saying that sometimes we are focusing on so much things which not really benefiting us, when actually that time that we're using to focus on those things, we should be actually bettering ourselves, developing ourselves, or
Can be
family or
better
community?
spent.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because we're getting high, roped up into the hype,
Yes.
into the glitz and the glamour and the Hollywood lifestyle, and waste too much time to look for footballers' wives and soccer stars and all
Yeah.
kind of thing, which these people are so remote from us and have no interest in our surrounding and our community, in our environment, let alone us. So let's employ our time a little better. Not to say that we can't comment. Of course, we have opinion, as I said. We have a molecule of intelligence. We can
Yeah.
have opinions on things, but some things have to be taken with a pinch of salt and move on.
Michelle, you're back. Let's see if we can hear you, Michelle.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Yeah, I think a call it, interrupted everything.
Mm. Okay.
Sorry, is Michelle in New York
Michelle
I'm
is in
in
Florida.
Florida.
Sorry.
Or
or in Florida?
what?
Okay, there was a lady there from New York because I was going to say that back
Kim
on
is
the
in New York.
subject. Okay, all right. But back on the subject of food, my cousin, you might know, has a health food store, Ujoma Health Food on Utica. I can't remember Utica and what, but Ross Marland there, he's been doing it 30 years as well. So anything that you want, which is holistic, he's the person to check in New York.
You hear that, Kim?
Okay.
Fly down to Kim
Yeah, here.
and Kim
Yeah, here.
and sell them some of your book. Promote your book down there.
Well, of course,
Yes,
of course.
that would be good.
But I want to bring in the point, because the behind the smiles and filters. How do
Mhm,
you? I've spoken to a few people of recent days who share that they are like the life of the party. Yeah,
mhm.
and this whole thing with Twitch has sort of put them back into memory lane of when they were at a very low point, even to suicidal, and nobody would really believe that they would have been of such disposition. Richard, what
Yeah.
do you say then to people who are actually struggling and not sure how to speak up and share, because they are somewhat deemed to be okay? Everybody's supposed to see them okay. You know what I'm trying to say? Always happy, always smiling.
Time. I call it the perfectionist society.
Yeah.
They call it, I can't remember the terminology what they have for it.
Mm,
Well, I mean, this is the truth is doing such things as this, because you cannot make a person open up if they're not ready. But what you can do, one can do, is continually create an environment that somebody is comfortable enough. That's what we can do. We don't
mm,
have any individual, we don't have control over individuals, but we do have a reasonable amount of control over environment. So if you have a platform such as this, where we can discuss strategies and on how we are going to create those environments around us in our day-to-day life,
yes.
day-to-day being, day-to-day existence, work, shop, um, play, whatever the case might be. That's where this is beneficial. It's creating strategies, each one teaching one strategies to overcome or to create, overcome things, yes, but more so to create environment that people feel comfortable to open up. Because if you said by default, by definition, that this person has a hidden disability or a hidden feeling and you can't see it, so but then we're gonna go in circles. For the very evidence is I cannot see it. The evidence is this person is not displaying it. This person is not presenting themselves in it. So how am I going to help him or her? So what I can do is do my best to realize that, one, to realize that people have these type of issues, and how do I create environments which are conducive to having people open up around me? So that's about self. That's about introspection. That's about individuals being the best they can be, which will in turn lend themselves to a multitude of situations, starting with the family, starting with their spouse and their children, and then mother, extended uncles, aunts, and the rest. We have to look at our sphere of influence and how we are projecting, how we project ourselves to our friends and family and the rest. And then once again, how best we create an environment which is conducive to people opening up if that's our concern. So let's spend the time on focusing on self. It always comes down to self. When it comes to self-esteem, when it comes to how one decides to portray oneself, when it comes to just your general environment, we can influence that. We can always influence that. And it always starts, as you said, mentioned Michael Jackson, by looking in the man in the mirror, the person in the mirror. And are you happy with what you see? That's where everything starts. Because once you, and that is a skill. That is a skill. That is not, I'm just saying it to make it so regular. Introspection, because you have to overcome the spirit of pride before you can even look at yourself. So there are many hurdles individuals have to surmount before they can even do that. So it's easily said, yes, but the longest journey started with a single step.
Yeah. Someone on Instagram even just saying that some individuals may feel if they share their pain or issues, but they may be judged after sharing or may not be able to
But that's a
assist them with their
personal
issues as well.
self-esteem issue. I can't help somebody's self-esteem. I can only create the best environment I can to have this person feel comfortable. Initially, I cannot deal with somebody's self-esteem. It's a hard word.
That comes along with ego. It's an ego thing.
That's what I said, the spirit of pride. You have to overcome the spirit of pride first. The spirit of pride, you have to overcome the spirit of pride before you can enter into any realm of introspection. But introspection is necessary. And many don't have the gift. Don't have the gift. Because it's definitely
pride and ego. You can have pride, but sometimes you're dealing with ego where you go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, you can have pride. You can have pride. It's that ego. When that ego kick in, this is where it goes. The thing is that you've been married for 9 years, and you want to tell me that your wife is going on with you, and you have been married for 9 years, the 9-year anniversary, and your wife don't suspect that. There's something strange to me. So this is where it comes in that I'm saying that he was probably living a secret life. Something happened why he would get into an hotel and do what they said he did.
Yeah. There's an underlying factor.
Yeah. Would you say someone who does something like that is selfish?
I call it selfish. If I think if it's not a mental thing like you're schizophrenic or something like that, you just a problem might arise in your life and then you commit suicide. I call it selfish, one that you leave behind.
Is it fair to say, Richard, it is selfish when somebody reach to that point where they go overboard, they have their family,
The benefit of hindsight, or should I say, not even hindsight. Sorry, that person wouldn't have hindsight; they'd be dead. But if you're going to look at this objectively after the fact, you can say yes, from the position it looks, and it is. But It isn't a selfish act. It's the only way a person feels that they can cope with the immediate situation is better they're not here. So it's selfish to those onlookers. It's selfish to those whom are left. Yes. But what would be this mindset, assuming this is suicide, or, but what would be the mindset at the point of pulling the trigger or doing whatever malady you decide to you, however you want to inflict yourself, rather. At that point, there's no mental, there's brain fog. There's no clarity.
Yeah.
It's a mistake over you.
Yeah. Richard, before I let you go, you in your sphere of influence in the restaurant bit, whereby you encounter many people over the years, and with the work that you do on Christmas Day in helping people and reaching out to people and community, there's a reason why you do that, because you realize there's a need. You have done some work also with the fire in New Cross as well.
Yeah, the New Fire Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have been engaged with a lot of persons. What's your sort of in regards to mental health?
Well, I was on a platform this morning where a very learned friend of mine, Julie Mohammed, presented, and she works for the health service, the National Health Service, more specifically, Black mental health and well-being.
Yes. You froze, Richard, at a very key point. Let me see. Richard, you froze. While Richard is there talking, someone.
Sorry, can you still hear me?
No, you froze. But if it okay, you're back now. Yes, you're back now.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. My screen. I should touch my screen every so often. It seems like it went to. Yeah.
You're at Black mental well-being. You're at that point there. Yeah.
She deals with Black mental health and well-being. Now, it's said that the prevalence of mental health issues is so much more in the Black community than it has ever been. But I'm thinking, every community, you have your set of people, particularly where we are back home, who would be, you would style them a certain way, or they would have a label in this context. But you say, why? I'm just only one of them, son. It's there, them idiot. I just want to say idiot. But that's how it is. And you take it, you don't look at it as any more than that. So it's only because everybody's gotten more analytical and so keen to put labels on people. That's why you're saying, well, maybe the prevalence is a little bit more. But is it? Like I said, in this COVID thing, I said, if you're going to test for idiot, you're going to find more idiots. Simple. But if you don't test for it, you won't find it. That's kind of logical. So if you're going to produce a test to find something, you will find it. You will find more incidents because you are now looking for it. So I can't say it's any more or any less. I just haven't got those stats. But what I will say, they want to let the weed alone. That part I do know. There's a mental health unit just across the road from one of my stores attached to a local hospital. And I have friends who are nurses there many, many years. And they said it's like a revolving door. The Black people and the weed, particularly this kind of chemicals, formula weed, them are born right now, doesn't make people psychotic. And that's what it is. And then it's a cycle because you straighten them out, but then believe in the weed, I give them the height and the insight. So as soon as them left now, then go back on the weed. And no, but the weed is this and the weed is that and the clarity and the rare. But so it's drug-induced psychosis.
Yes.
And I do see a lot of that. Because again, herbalists would say, well, the original Rastaman weed, and like that. This has some formula, something, some chemical, something, them are laced with this and them are laced with that. I guess they're right. I guess they're right.
Yeah. Well, Richard, I want to thank you for coming on. But before you go, let's talk some more about Christmas Day with the oxtail. May I come for oxtail?
Hey,
Him not give oxtail, no. Oxtail, him not give the
no,
oxtail.
well, listen to me. It's like this, you know. Them have to start breed some cow or some ox with some tail I run out of them back. Like come here say there's certain big chicken stores them are breed chicken now without foot and breed chicken for do all kind of thing and have wing pan back and wing pan this and wing one bird I have how much wing because
Yeah,
of the you know the need for wings. So
yeah,
maybe we have to start breed some cow with how much tail.
yes, 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 yes.
Sometimes put the price down.
Mm. So Christmas Day, which where are the stores? Which
So
restaurant?
it's 389 Lewisham High Street.
Eighty
Um,
nine Luge. Yeah,
389 Lewisham High Street, Lewisham it is, and postcode for those who want it SE13 or zip code SE13 0 Echo 136
yes,
NZ 6 November Zulu.
yeah,
Right up to Lewisham Hospital from 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. where
yeah,
we actively encourage people to come in, sit down
yeah,
because what we've done historically, only the time during COVID we couldn't, was we make up the tables and we put on the party hat and all that as well. So those people who live on the street, rough sleepers, can come in and have a day of warmth and a day of some kind of family semblance. You know, we've had the Wii games out and on the screens, and just trying to make it a really fun day.
yes, yeah.
That's
We I got the fly up. It's all invited. No need to book. Just walk in, spread the word. 389 Lewisham High Street, London, SE13 BNZ. As well. Free
picture.
Christmas meal. Yeah.
That's
And
it.
Mhm.
so Kim, you
Well,
can fly.
on the menu is actually with the roast. It's a full, you know, roast turkey, Irish potato, roast potato. The parsnips, which I am particularly fond of, which look like the white carrot, but has a sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Honey glazed parsnips, I love them. The English love this thing called Brussels sprouts, which is some little, for want of
Brussels
a
with a
description,
sprout.
very, 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 very small cabbage, which has a
Yes.
very strong taste. And it's like nobody like them, but if you don't have them with your European Christmas meal, you feel say you don't eat.
Yes, yes, yes. And will you have
Yeah.
fruit cake, Jamaican fruit cake? Rum cake?
Yes, there is actually
Uh,
a lady that brings in, she donates a fruit cake um, every single year.
you know, Richard, I will always call you and I will always bring up things which you don't really have on the menu, like
Yeah.
oxtail.
So I look like we have to go cook a pot of soup for you then and full it out still too.
well,
Because
well, listen.
only for spinach and yam.
Well, listen, we'll have to have a Sunday evening with you, one of my sit down Sunday evening with you, where we talk about a lot of stuff which you're doing, especially with the new cross bit. And I think you did a plaque, wasn't it? Yeah.
If I can just mention actually, if you
Please.
don't mind, the New Cross fire, because what happened, as you said, we did the memorial, which is about 18 feet high, thereabout. It's a bust, head and shoulders, with some images of the Black People's Day of Action back in 1981, which occurred. It was a march which occurred a couple of months after the fire itself.
Mhm.
And this is because my store is 81 properties away from where the fire actually took place. And I was there the morning
Wow.
of the fire, and I was only 15. I mean, there a nightclub. I'm done
Okay.
walk 3 mile already because we are trying to, them time we now drive. So um, I was walking and I was just across the road from the party and a friend of mine came past with the three of us walking and one of the guys who I was with his brother parked in his new vehicle. And so he said, boy, I mean, Mr. Driving on, I go home, come up another 3 miles for walk. So
Mm.
I took the drive, but them days we were all involved in sound. So we knew the sound system, the sound guys, Gemini Sound, who was playing the music. And those days you wouldn't need invites, you just go on and just chirps and two nice word and whatever, and you just enter the party, you know. So that was commonplace in those days. But we lost. I lost a few friends there of the 14 that died. I knew at least three of them on a very personal basis.
Yes.
Where I used to go party with them and rare. But one of them who died used to attend my primary school from about I was 5 years old,
Yes.
and not many people knew that. You see, they only know us all as big people. But he died, and my mother used to cook. He was to a single parent, just his mother, and this
Yes.
is we're talking about 1970, 1971, where
Yeah.
he, they didn't have a television. You know, it's just his mother and him, and they didn't have a television, so he used to watch TV in our house. And so mom would cook when he come from school, and he would be by us, you know, 4 or 5 days a week. And his name was Glenson Powell. So he was the reason why I did it in celebration of our 30 years opening, which the very same year, that was 1991, we opened, my restaurant opened, Coming Up Caribbean Takeaway and Restaurant. That was 1991. So 30 years, 2021. But it was also the 40th year of the fire, which was 1981, 10 years previous, but was also the 40th year of the passing of, was 40th year of the passing of Bob Marley. It was the 40th year, the 50th year of a gentleman named David Michael, who was the first black police officer.
Yeah.
I know
David. I know David well.
David,
Yes.
right. Well,
Yeah.
David is a friend of mine as well. And he started at the police academy in 1971. So there was all these people I knew. And the ultimate was the destroying of the Black Wall Street, as we know, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. That was 100 years. So there was all of these one significant round numbers, you know, 40, 50, and 100. So I decided to mark it. That's the reason why I did it. But having done it, it raised the level of conversation and awareness to the point where a new group has been formed, the New Cross Fire Foundation, where what we will do ultimately, and I'm a director, I'm one of the directors, there are 4 directors, is look for a positive spin on all this negative and have people realize and educate them that this is Black British history, but it's not just Black, it's British history. And there are many lessons to be learned. So, and more so, on another stream, talking about mental illness, there are many people who are suffering directly and indirectly through mental illness, or they haven't been able to achieve all they could in life because of the fire. Because we all have so many people that everybody knows somebody. Everyone knows somebody, you know, and it's just for us now to say, right, we are formulating ourselves in a like a top end organization where we are speaking to corporate, where lots of promises have been made. So we want to create a space for healing. So we want it properly thought out. We want to draw on the skills of our community, those in the knowledge of these things, and create an environment for healing. This is in a park, a local park, to where people assemble. It was just across, not too far from the house where the fire was, where people assembled that morning, and one of the youth centers where people assembled that morning, where we have space there that we're going to create a healing environment. You know, we have a director who's going to deal with the educational aspects of it. We want to be looking to further bursaries. So there's going to be, we want to take a very negative situation and make it into one of the most positive legacy building. That's what's more important. Because what I said at the time, our parents were economic migrants and didn't feel, I feel, empowered to speak the power. They weren't empowered themselves to speak the power. They were just interested in obviously putting the means on the table and raising their families. But
also, Richard, some of them when they came just for a period of time and want to go back home, but then they have children and they couldn't go back.
My parents was the same. My parents was the same. You know, they came and it was everybody have the 5-year plan.
Yes,
but it could never happen because they start send down routes. And as they start send down routes, life takes over. Plus,
Yes.
these people were earning £5 to £7 per week. How much can you say about that? Even
Mm,
though, relatively speaking, yes, everything was a lot cheaper, but nonetheless, wages were not so good. And you didn't have an established community that you could work. I always say, if you couldn't fry a dumpling, you wasn't going to eat one. You couldn't go and just buy one from a store, as simple as that is. If you couldn't fry it, you couldn't eat it.
yes.
That's what they were faced with. So this is a very different time now. But as I said, we are now empowered to speak to authority, to speak to
Yes.
power. We have that authority now. So
Mm.
it would be remiss of us not to exploit that fully and ensure that there is a legacy to pass on to our children and those who are coming
Mm.
behind.
You're right, Richard, because at the end of the day, our children have to fight their battles. We have to fight the battles for us now. Then, when they reach to that point, we don't want them to be fighting the battles that we should have. And
Dealt with,
and it's
yes,
and it's
yes,
and it's very interesting what you mentioned about therapy and healing. A lot of traumatic things have happened. You know, through the transatlantic slavery, maybe people are suffering the trauma from that. The fire which you mentioned, and even COVID, which is
yes,
something which took place. A lot of people have that traumatic aspect. So what you say is that there's got to be a way how to turn these things into positive. So
yes,
we'll have to follow up on that more, because the question I have to ask is why some are going through and some are not going through. But then Lester just said something a while ago, or somebody just posted something a while ago by saying one of the things isn't spoken about. It is popular people who suffer from depression. Most time their drug is fame. Losing that popularity can become deadly. So the point right there is that they
Mhm.
that look like they're okay and they're going through, that doesn't mean to say they're really going through.
no, 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 they're indebted up to their eyeballs.
Yes, 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 yes. All right, then, boss. Well, say to the wife,
Yes,
and
sir. Thank you
and
all for
yeah,
inviting me.
no problem. And Richard will have to have a one on one another time where we sit down and thing like that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Enough reasoning, enough reasoning, enough
So Michelle,
power.
remember to go to the store in New York there. Yeah.
Yes.
For the
Yeah,
Holy
Ujoma Health Food
Spirit.
Store, Utica. But if you want a personal hookup, I can deal with that because we're very Afrocentric people. And yes, books and various. He sells a lot of books as well. He
As
does
a matter
sell
of
a
fact,
lot.
Wow.
Kim, just tell him a bit of what you do with your books there. Yeah.
Well, my books are about, I have a book called Black Woman is Queen. That's on my t-shirt here, if you can see it.
No, sorry, I'm not viewing anything. It seems I'm just looking at
Oh,
myself.
you're not viewing
Oh,
anything.
Richard, I send you the link so you can look at the show later on YouTube.
Yeah.
Richard,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
keep talking, Kim. Yeah.
It's
The
called
books
Black
there.
Woman is Queen, Pamper Up. And I have another book called The Silent P, which teaches girls about the period. And I have
Right.
another book called F Him and Keep It Moving. What I is
Okay.
a story, is a journal of my life after my divorce. And another book called What I Wish I Told My Mom. So I wrote 4 books, and 3 of them during the pandemic.
Excellent.
And Michelle, Kim, can you say why you pushed to write the books them quickly?
Well, I thought because of the pandemic, I thought that I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna catch COVID and die because I was working at the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene, and a lot of persons were dying because they came in for the death certificates, and I thought that I was gonna catch COVID and die from it. So I was like, I'm not gonna let my dream not come true. I have to get my books out.
Mm.
So I wrote them and get them out.
Right.
Yeah. And the last time when I interviewed him, I think those were 1 or 2 books. I mean, I haven't spoken to you for a year, and
Yeah,
yeah, there's
it's
4 books
now
now.
4 books now.
She has
see,
the
see,
bug.
yeah. See the point, Richard. Right there is one has got to really do what we have to do, and we can do it. And Richard, the point you mentioned there, and which is crucial here, is that sometimes we are focusing on things. The time that we spend focusing on things which are
Mhm.
not beneficial to us, we could have write 3 books already, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
Mm,
Right.
right. Oh, but
Well, let me
not Michelle.
give you an exclusive. I have my book coming too.
Good,
All right.
good, good. What is it about?
It's called 30 Years On. It's my time in business.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
And
and,
my
and
book is
now
and
we're
my book. Yeah. Go on.
sorry, man.
Finish, Richard. Finish, Richard. Yeah.
No, just and now 30 years on. So now we're at a position where um many of our children, my children, our children, my wife and I, are starting in business as well.
Mm.
And so it's the environment. But yeah, so that's 30 years on. So we're just finishing it.
I just put up a pictures of your children and family there a while ago. Everybody
Okay.
can see with your Jamaican colors.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes, the Jamaican colors. Yes,
And,
that picture, needless to say, is several years old now because those in that picture, the females are now baby mothers of multiple children. Because I have 10 grandchildren now.
whoa, whoa.
Wow.
See,
Yeah,
see, you walk
ten
down, you
grandchildren.
walk down, see, you walk down the road now with like some little ducklings and them behind you.
You know, that's it.
Richard, that also. Well, listen, I also, I'm putting it out there because I've been doing my walk and talk motivational. So my book is coming out, how it began, walk and talk motivational moments.
Ooh,
Well
And
done,
it's
sir.
something I'm
nice.
pulling together, you know. And
Love
my
it.
website is D's working on my website where I'm gonna be putting out products like hats, walk and talk motivation moments, my own branding because after the whole thing with Kanye West and Kira and what's the other guy, the basketballer in America,
Kyrie
Um,
or
Karen, yeah.
Kyrie,
I
yeah.
stopped wearing Adidas and Nike. And I said I'm
Right.
not gonna wear them, so my hats are going to be with Walk and Talk logo.
Right.
And
Well, you are speak. I'm sorry to cut you, but I've been on that a long time ago. I have, my children bought me various sneakers, and the first thing I do is get a black marker and black out any name. I don't want
yeah,
no name on my foot, and the only name I wear is coming up, my one or one of
yes,
my children's one. That's it. Because
yes,
we have to actively promote ourselves,
yes,
Right.
and you
You have
can't
to
stop
create your own
promoting
brand.
yourself. You must promote yourself.
yes,
What, I mean, Adidas and Puma, Nike and Slasinger, as well come on one day, Fila, and come on, they make them,
yeah.
as my mother would say, they make the money already. So
And you're right, you're right, Richard.
yeah, we have to promote ourselves. Promote ourselves. That's
Yeah.
it.
So therefore,
but we need
Michelle, sorry,
And,
Michelle.
and, and anybody looking land in Gambia, talk to me. Yes,
Sorry, Michelle, you're saying.
stuff so that we can promote each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a black sneakers maker, where you could promote that. If you
yes,
wear sneakers, I mean, I just had on some Adidas myself. When I put it on, I said to myself, well, damn, me not that rich for saying me I'll get rid of all of my I said,
right. No, the first thing you just black out the logo. Make your
I
statement
guess
like that. Get a marker and just black it out.
yeah, I have Adidas sweats and all that kind of stuff yesterday. I mean, I said, boy, I'm really feel bad for putting this on in no butt. We can't get rid of me already.
No,
Richard, what you Richard say? Richard say, block it out.
that's your statement. That's
but
your statement.
but it's right. It's right. It's right that we. So when you see one walking down the road, one can walk with a walk and talk motivational hat, and then Richard is walking with my hat. I'm walking with Richard's shirt coming up. I'm walking with Michelle with Kim Snow. Yeah, okay, I can write it because my wife is a queen. Black woman is queen. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there we start the revolution because guess what?
Mm.
I keep us walking with this Nike hat every day when I'm walking in the park. A virgin from Jamaica, Dr. Virgin, who follows me, say, Sidi, why you keep promoting Nike? Am I pay you? He always message me all the while.
Yes. Some
You know?
kind of product placement.
Exactly. So we have it. Listen, we're magic and we have it in our hands as much as possible, and we can do it. And therefore, by virtue of such, we're actually dealing with the poverty factor again, because you know what I was thinking the other day, Richard. I was speaking to someone. I was saying, say I got a young couple who bought a property. Yeah, a couple bought a property. One bought a property. One bought a property. Instead of them struggling to pay rent, pay the mortgage for a youngs, why not even for a year? They all live together
Yes.
and then just pay the rent, pay the mortgage for one. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And rent
Yeah.
out the other one or something.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
Because
Michelle?
my parents did the same. You know, when they bought their house, they the only way they could have achieved it is to have all the rooms rented,
Mm,
and that's what they did. That's why
Yeah, but
when time
that's like
passed,
a
so my
business.
father, sorry,
That's like of it. But the problem is that a lot of Black people, we don't stick together that way, that we support,
mm,
you know, like what Silburn, you buy one property.
mm.
It's not like that in society anymore.
no,
It's
the
just not
reality
like
is
that. It's not
different. Yeah.
on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the colonial slave masters imprinting their mentality upon we.
Yeah.
So we having then no trust in our brother, which
Yes.
was deliberately taken away from us so that we would always inform one another. So if we to quash any uprising.
Mm. Somebody just said a while ago, that's exactly what my parents did also,
Yeah.
on Instagram as well. I think we have to go back to some sort of basic. And Richard and Michelle and Kim, I mean, I'm not going to say in 2023, but tomorrow, like this is today, because I've been saying it. I'm not going to be saying in 2023 I'm going to do this and doing this resolution thing. I'm going to start speaking some issues like what we are speaking now, challenging the mindset, critical thing. Even
Yeah.
that video there with the lady there. Okay, let's people look at it, analyze it, and just really can intelligently, you know, try to work out things
Yes. Yes.
and not be reactive.
Mm.
Even like the Nogosi lady, the one with Prince Harry William grandmother or something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if it was me, I would say to her, so who are your parents? Were they slave traders? Just
Flip
flip the
it.
script back
Yeah,
on the.
flip it. Yeah, flip it. Because I had a situation like that.
Yeah,
Um, where I moved, where I currently live. And we were doing before we moved in, we we were gutting the place actually. We remodeled the entire place, but we were
yeah,
fortunate that I had my parents home when they were in Jamaica. It was empty because going back to what I was saying about my parents renting the place when they had paid for it. I was saying to like, Dad, you can rent it, and get X. He said, just pay the light bill and left everything. I don't want nobody in the house. He got to a stage where he did it, done it, and it was a retrograde step for him because he know the suffering where he had to go up and put with people. So, but I was like, why you can get some money? And he was like, no way, no way. So we were fortunate we were able to stay there, and 6 months we refurbished the place. And one woman with a ranking self come ask me, why did I not buy somewhere else more than all this work? I said, "What the fuck?" So she said, well, why did you not buy somewhere else? Why go through all of this? And I said to her, oh, because I couldn't afford any better. I just said, flip the script. I
flip
said,
the
that's all
script.
I could. I said, this is all I could afford.
Flip the script, man. Flip the script. That's what we have to
Yeah,
do. Take the high road, knowing who you are, have confidence in yourself, and know that you're the top dog. That's what I say all the while.
that's it.
We're
Yes,
not
yes,
we're not at the bottom, we're at the top, no matter what. If somebody's racist, that's their problem. That doesn't mean
no
to say
problem.
you're gonna squash you, you know what I mean?
Yeah. True,
Richard, you
true.
got the right agenda. Listen, boss, we'll let you go.
Bless you, my brother. Bless you.
All right.
Good evening, guys.
Good
And
evening.
thank you for your time. Thank you for having me on, my brother.
All
And
right, Richard.
just as you said, we'll catch up again soon.
We'll catch up
My brother.
again. Yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Take
All the
care.
best. Take
Bye
care,
for
sir.
now.
Bye. Yes, Kim. Bless you.
Yes,
So
thank
tell
you.
Kim, tell us about the books, man. While you're here now, before, in our last segment, tell us about the books because we haven't catch up for a while. The last
My
two books.
my books then it's the silent P. It's talking about, because I know I mentioned about period poverty, I think in our first interview.
Yes, yes.
And so I decided to write a children's book that was talking about the period, teaching girls about the period. It's for persons who are between the ages of when they get a period, like 9 to 13. That's that age group, because that's the time that they end up, most girls end up getting a period about 9 or
Mm.
10
And,
thereabout.
and what was it that propelled you or motivated you to? I think you said it a while ago, but let's just say it again. To write a book for
Well,
young
that
people.
one,
Yeah.
what made me wrote the children's book was because I think I kind of experienced a little bit of period poverty myself, because I wasn't
Mm,
working at one point, and I was like, how am I gonna afford to take care of pay for my sanitary napkins? So I decided I was gonna write a book about it, and
mm.
that's what propelled me to write about it, basically.
Okay, okay. And then, and how is it? How what's the feedback with it? I mean, 'cause I know you've
A
been
lot of
on
persons
Jamaica.
like it.
'Cause I know you've been on
Smile Jamaica and TV,
interview
CVM.
on a couple of stations. In,
Yes, I was on CVM and
yes, yes,
CVJ, Smile Jamaica.
yes, yes.
A
And
lot
the
of
other
persons are
place.
receptive about it. They like the
Mm,
idea, they like the concept of it, because a lot of persons were talking about period poverty in Jamaica and throughout the world. So it's not something that you really see them write in a book about period,
yes.
specifically about period. So it's a good book.
Mm, hmm. And the other is that the latest one, or one was
The
before that?
latest one is called What I Wish I Told My Mom. I Was Raped and Silenced. So it's about my trauma with dealing with being raped and abused.
Mm. That must be resonant because one of the things, like even young people. Okay, let's use Jamaica. um, the sort of pedophilia culture which we all grew up
Mm-hmm.
on. We all know it. Growing up, bus drivers them having little girls. We never see it as
Calling to
nothing
those girls.
until we come to England or overseas. We realize that hang on, that's that's
That's
really
pedophilia.
that's really
Yeah, you didn't know
that's
what
really
it was.
those are really statutory rape going on right before our very eyes, and it was like normal.
It was normal.
you know but you're talking about that though. You're talking about the more drastic aspect, is it?
Yeah.
you know
So I was molested and raped at, I think, when I was 6 or 7.
mm,
I can't remember. But it
mm,
was when I was very young, and it was by a family member. And so I didn't talk about it for years. I didn't talk about none of my trauma. It
mm,
wasn't until I remember I told her about my situation. So it wasn't until that incident that
yeah.
I started talking about it. And I told my ex-husband, oh, I was raped. And he was like, oh, he went and told his mom. And
mm.
then his mom was like, oh, maybe this is why you're like this. No, I'm like, no, 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 no. That's different. I wasn't like this from the get-go. That's
So it was used to judge you. Your
Yeah, it was
trauma was
used to
used to
judge
judge you.
me.
Mm.
Yep. I didn't talk about it, but when I did talk about it, the first person I told was my ex-husband, and that wasn't it wasn't receptive at all. He wasn't receptive to it.
Well, it's like the point that someone mentioned that bro on Instagram when they're talking about mental. It says some individual may feel if they share their pain or issues, they may be judged after sharing
For
or may not be able to assist them with their issues. So it's like it open up this kind of worm
worms, and then you can't go back. You can't put it back in the can after you already spit it out.
because it started to be like a whip to
Yep.
whip you and so like that. So is it that something that because I remember when you did one of your books, you used to get a lot of people sending you messages.
Yeah.
You know, it's similar to Maxine or Marlon Sherwood. Remember that lady that I interviewed, whose father raped her in Jamaica for a long time? I don't know if
Oh
you
yes,
remember.
I remember her.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah. The
her.
lies, the lies I tell, the lies I tell. Remember that book there? um,
Hmm.
and what was interesting about that as well is the same thing to a certain extent, whereby by her sharing it, a lot of young people was reaching out to her with their trauma and their experience. So when that happens now, it's like I'm interviewing you for a show now. But when that happens, how do you then? Because now people are telling you, like what we're talking about. How do you
Yes,
then
that
help them?
person told me. I just tell them about what I went through, what I've been doing to kind of deal with my trauma. Well, I do
Yeah.
therapy still. I, I,
Yes.
I think, and I recommend it for persons to do it as well to help them overcome it and to talk about it. At least confining somebody. If
Yeah.
something like that happens to you, don't deal with it on your own. Talk to somebody about it. Like for me, when I told my ex-husband, I didn't expect that reaction from him. So and maybe he didn't expect that something like that to have happened to me. But there
Mm,
are a lot of women who have been molested and who don't really discuss it. They don't disclose it because of the shame, as I said, the stigma that comes along with it.
yeah.
So, um, for me particularly, I just try and share how I overcome it, how I've dealt with it, and how I've been still dealing with it because it hasn't
Mm,
changed.
yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. And as a result of that, you find yourself indirectly by just sharing your experience, you're somewhat liberating some people at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Indirectly, you've become a, sometimes people say they're not a counselor, but then people start, you're indirectly counseling, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. You become like a peer counselor.
Peer counselor. No, that's really powerful, really. And in the last word before we go, 'cause I'm not gonna stay long tonight.
Mhm.
Because I think sometimes when you have a good show, just keep it and wrap it up. Your last word regarding the the point in what Lester said a while ago about lots of people are, hiding behind the fame, because one of the things also with social media, and that's why I
Mhm.
use the word filter. The filter hide the reality of what
Of what's
is.
happening. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, Silborn, a lot of persons will look at my social media. I have an Instagram, I have two Instagrams, Kim Snowflakes, and the next one is Kadian Dot Snow, which is about the title of my books, which has
Yeah.
my name on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of persons will look at my social media and think that maybe nothing is wrong with me or nothing is going on in my life. And I've told you about my story and I told you about it, but I try to be as transparent as possible, especially on one of them. I talk about what's going on with me. I remember I was talking to one of the girls. There was a friend of mine in school. She went to the same high school as me, the Convent of Mercy Academy
Mm,
Alpha.
yeah.
And she was saying, if you can't come on social media and be too negative and you can't talk about this type of stuff because this is like an escape. A lot of people use the social media as an escape route.
Yeah.
You get to kind of see different things and look at different people, and fantasy is like a fantasy world that is not reality. Basically, it's
Yeah.
really like a fantasy world that you go into, you delve into, and then you end up seeing like a different side to this world, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
if their life looks so perfect, that means that maybe and then persons do compare their lives, but what they need to understand is that you can't allow, because you see all these stuff on the social media, these filters and these beautiful pictures, and assume that people don't go through things in life, because
Mm,
a lot of persons are going through things in life and they don't talk about it. They don't show it on the social media because oftentimes when you come on there and you bring up something, they might say that you're negative. But the
mm,
word that I was trying to remember earlier is toxic positivity, and
yeah.
that's something that is happening, is not a reality. Nobody's constantly happy all the time or constantly,
Yeah.
no, none of us are perfect. And if it's come back to the, as I was saying, it's an escape from reality, so people don't want to see the truth. I think a lot oftentimes with persons don't, because when I go on TikTok, for instance, everybody's on TikTok dancing.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing, there's a TikTok video which is so interesting, where the guy, everywhere he goes, he stand up and say,
It
he
seems
goes to
everybody
McDonald's,
dancing. Oh yeah, I
dancing,
saw that one.
goes to
I
Kentucky, they
saw
dance.
that.
And he just say, what's this going on? And even with Twitch, somebody was saying, come on,
He was
what's
always
going on?
dancing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know me. I dance in the in the petrol
What the
station.
park? Yeah.
And in the park, I'm there dancing, you know. But what? But somebody, let's zero in on that a bit. Why do you think people are dancing?
I think they're dancing to kind of, because I've done it. I've had TikToks where I dance on it. It's like you're trying to cheer up yourself. You're trying to be happy. You're trying to enjoy the
Mm.
moment and stuff like that. So I think that's what persons are doing. And it's a trend too. And people are following these trends.
And then people are then caught up into it, and if they don't do it, they
Hmm.
feel like
They're left
people are,
out.
people are going to be saying what's wrong with them. That is why I notice people sometimes will come on to social media and they'll say, I know I've not been here for a while. I always say, you don't have to say that. Like me, I walk in the park, and if I don't walk in the park, no big deal. I just walk the next day. I don't have to be trying to
You don't have to do it every day. Like you're
I
trying
don't
to
have to be
keep up.
keep up and trying to show that I'm up to it. But people are feeling
Social media is the new keep up with the Joneses. That's what it is. It's
yes,
no
yes.
longer keeping up with the next door neighbor, your rich aunties, or your rich uncles, or your
Mm,
rich. The
mm.
social media is what is keeping up, what everybody's trying to keep up with nowadays.
And it's becoming dangerous, and mentally it is
Yep,
messing up lots of people. Wow,
yep, I do
wow,
think so.
wow. Well, when you go in Jamaica,
I'm not sure. I wish I could go down now because it's so cold here.
it's cold there.
Yes,
Well, it's what's the degree down? What's the degree over there now?
I think it's 40 something degrees or 30 something. I'm not I think it's between that. It's probably dropped because the low was like 37, I think.
Yeah, it's over here now. It's still minus
Is it
one.
snowing?
Well, we still have snow outside there, and I still have a snowman right at the back there in the garden where
Wow.
my daughter's did. It's on the table, and every morning when I look at it, I said, "Shucks." When I see that snowman gone, that's when I know things are getting better. But the snowman is still there. He's still. I can't see him now, but I know he's right there. Foxes, you know. So anyway, Michelle is gone already. Well, listen, Kim, great having you again,
Thank
and
you so much.
and then we'll have to do another sit down again because
Yes, we need to.
I'm reviving back the Sunday, the chill Sunday after in evening show discussions, and then
Okay.
we'll come on and talk about the other books and so like that.
Yes,
All
that
right.
would be great for me to discuss my two books, my other
Yeah,
two
man.
books.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right. Take care of yourself. All right.
You
And say
too.
bye to
Take
your
care and
friend
have.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me let you say hi to
Yeah.
her. Say bye, Catrice, and say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care of yourself. Keep cool.
Say bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Awesome. Take care of yourself. Okay.
All
Bye,
right.
Kim. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mhm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and very interesting show with Kim Snow. We saw her, interviewed her already regarding her books, and Michelle and Mr. Richard Simpson. I'm gonna put it back up again. Make sure you go to his restaurant if you want to have some nice food on the Christmas day. And there are the details there. Some nice food which is there as well. And all I can say is, take care of yourself. What I've done, I've placed the numbers underneath the bottom for the Samaritans. You can contact them if you want someone to talk to. I know lots of people sometimes say, reach out. Well, this is one place you can reach out, but also reach out to your family, reach out to your friends. Of course, as many people have said, sometimes friends don't know how to deal with you, but it's better to just reach out than to keep it in as well. And as for as the list that came on earlier, as for the football tomorrow, it's going to be Africa versus Argentina. Oh, sorry, France versus Argentina, because somehow all the French players are black and all the Argentinians are white. So I don't know what's happening there. You know what I'm trying to say? Africa has come to Europe, if anything. So I want to say, and thank you for those on Instagram. Of course, Instagram, this is just, you're only seeing the face. You got to go on to YouTube, Facebook to see it. You can always watch it again. I won't be on next week because next week is Christmas Day. Let me see something. Yeah, next week Saturday is Christmas Eve. Yeah, not maybe I might on. Who knows? I don't really watch the whole thing, And Happy New Year when it comes. Peace out. Good night. Bye bye.